Hey everyone, it's Derek from Jeep Budget Builds. Got the day off. I'm going to come out here, work on my Jeep a little bit. I replaced my stereo last weekend, and I didn't realize that I needed this guy to get my Sirius radio to keep working. Everything I found online showed that I just needed an adapter, so I had this, but this was strictly for my antenna. So I wanted to do a quick little video, and I want to show some different tips and tricks on taking this dash apart. Literally all you need is a deep well, 7mm, and a couple of these plastic pry tools, and you can take this whole dash apart and do your radio in no time. Stay tuned. So this is after the stereo was installed the first time, but to get this dash apart, to start, all you have to do is take a pry tool, stick it in here, and pop this off. There's a plug on the back, and then there's a screw head that's straight down that's very easy to get. Once you get that out, you can pull this rubber mat out, and there's a bolt right in here that you need to pull out. Once you take the factory bracket off, that bolt no longer has anything to grab onto, so it's currently not in. And then you can grab this panel here under your steering wheel, pull it out, and there's a screw right here, and then one on this side right back in here, and you take those four out, and then you're loose. Then you take that same pry tool again, and I just started right here, and you just start working it around. You can pry the whole dash apart. Okay, so I got my dash pulled apart, and I took the 4 screws off for the radio. So it's 2 here, 2 over here, and then the radio pulls out. If you're doing this from factory, back here you'll see a just a bare metal bracket, and there was 2 or 3 screws on that you needed to take out. One of the things I wanted to point out is I did the iDataLink Maestro RR conversion, which it's really cool. You can do a ton of customizing programs. There's a million videos on YouTube, and they're gonna be a lot better than I can make. One of the things that really got dusted over on it though was this orange and yellow cable that I have snaked through the dash here. It plugs down into your OBD2 port, and then you can use that to import data from your Jeep into your head unit. And if you need to use your programmer to change, tire size, headlight options, there's a bunch of different things you can do with all the different programmers. You can just unplug it, and it doesn't affect anything. It just doesn't send the data to the head unit anymore. But once you get the 4 screws pulled out, you can just grab this and slide this straight out. And you got your whole mess of wires that you got to deal with. But I wanted to show, I have some pictures that I'll post with this, but right here, this bracket hung down about here, and you have to notch this out. I used a razor blade and a coping saw, which is like a little fine tooth saw for carpentry, mainly because that's all I just had to grab quickly. But it's real thin plastic, it's super easy to cut, but it's still a brace. You want to make sure you don't break this when you're cutting it, so just take your time and be nice and gentle with it. Okay, so I got the radio pulled out. I plugged in this Sirius box. I bought this tape. It's called Loom Tape, I believe. It's really popular in the radio world to wrap everything up with. So I taped down this end just in case, if we're off-roading or something. I don't want it to bump and come unhooked and have to take the whole dash apart. I'm also going to wrap a little bit of foam around this and put some more tape on it so you can't hear it rattling around. But as you can see, the XM is now up on the screen. I can go into here, there's, all the different channels. If you've had XM, you know what the heck you're looking at. And I can go into here now. Before, this was grayed out and I couldn't select it. So now I have that hooked up. Another thing I also did, which I think is pretty cool, is I got 2 cameras, the front and the rear. They're not working. There we go. So I got my backup camera installed. Never had one of those before, so I'm pretty excited about that. 37s and just a spare tire on the back, it makes it very difficult to back up at times. So I'm gonna get this taped back up, get the whole dash installed, and now I can mount my front camera, and I'm probably gonna redo the back camera so it's got a better shot. So I'll get some information on that. All right, so I got the whole dash back together. I spent some time, redid my rear backup camera, and then I got my front camera mounted and installed. So my backup camera you know, I was able to bump it out a little bit so you don't see as much as the wheel, and square it up in the shot so it's a little bit better. The one I bought has 2 different leads that you can cut to get rid of the backup lines or to flip it for a front-facing camera. So I'll probably get those lines off because it's not smart enough to turn like you would in a like a newer vehicle. For the front-facing camera, it's not much to see. With my way my bumper is, it's kind of looking straight down, so it's just my driveway right now. Hopefully when we go off-roading, this will help if there's something right in front of me, in case I'm starting to get high-centered or something, I can see it coming. Who knows? They're not the greatest. There's some cheap Amazon cameras. I'm not super thrilled with the quality, but it's better than I had before. I'll take some snapshots and post up with this video. You can see what everything looks like mounted. I'll also leave links in the description for everything that I bought. And if you have any questions, you know, feel free to send us a message and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. So here's a picture of my backup camera that's mounted in the spare. There's a picture of my flush mount front camera on the bottom of my bumper. And then here's a picture of the wiring harness with the diagram in the background. And then after it's all taped up and ready to go.
This is a video of Derek's front-facing camera, so we can see obstacles as they come up on them. It doesn't mean he's learned how to drive yet.